Hello. Um, I'm recording this. Uh, I don't know what the title of this video will be yet, but um, let's just start with introductions. My name is Katlo. I'm 16. I am writing my HCSE exams right now, and I am an artist. And I'd like to talk about my loneliness. I am not depressed, which sounds like something a depressed person would say. Right now, my siblings are sleeping. I really hope I don't wake them up with this, but anyway, I want to talk about my life so far as a 16-year-old and a high schooler and a person. I want to make this channel specifically for art, but for now it's just going to be used to record my life, basically. Okay, so before this, let me just give you some context. I was in the kitchen ranting about my past issues, I'd say. And I believe there's some events in my life that have led to why I am the way I am. And that's like saying, I believe the reason 1 + 1 is 1 is because I don't even know. I was trying to make a joke. Okay, let's just get started. At school, I don't have many friends. Is it a choice, or is it my lack of social skills? I don't know. This is more about my loneliness as an artist. So I'm gonna start there. Right now, I have started an Instagram channel. I'll link it in the video, I guess. And I post there. Recently, I've been having this feeling of being excited to post my work because I've actually been getting better. And I just reached out to one person to ask them about wanting to become an artist. I mean, wanting to collab with them as a writer and a artist. So the feeling I was getting was this excitement to show my work, because someone had said they liked my work, and I said I appreciated it. And it got me thinking about all the times I was praised for my art, because it's not like it's anything crazy like maths or being able to calculate big numbers in your head. But I have received a significant amount of praise for it, specifically from my schoolmates. One guy said I could actually make a manga, which I really appreciated, because it made me feel like what I was doing as an artist wasn't a complete waste of time. It made me feel like it was worth something. Putting in those hours of sketching every day, not doing anything better. And I draw a lot. Like recently, I've been drawing a lot. Like a lot. I should be studying most of the time, but I'm drawing. I'm recording this at night, so I can't be too loud. I don't really have much free time. I will have free time tomorrow, so I'll record something tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be about. Hopefully, I can record a drawing process or something, because this is my first time actually trying to do this. So I got the praise from a classmate of mine. He said, "Oh, you can make a manga out of this." And another friend of mine has told me that I do great work. And that praise really made me feel good. I actually like being praised. Which brings me to the less exciting part, at least to me. It's not. Let me just continue the story. This made me think about something my mom said in the car one time. My behavior is to get other people's attention. It wasn't that specifically, but basically, I carry a lot of books to school. I can't help it. I just think that I need those books, that I'm going to practice with them, but I don't. Right now, it feels like I need those books, even though I know I'm not going to use a lot of them, but I need them in the bag. So she said that kind of behavior is like to get people's attention. And one time we were at the saloon, we were going to the saloon, and I was bringing my sketchbook and another book. I think it was Student Companion. It's this English book that helps you with, well, English, right? And she said, "Why are you carrying so many books? We're just going to cut your hair. You don't need to grab people's attention. You don't need to show them how great you are." And it made me think, it didn't make me think that she was wrong, because I do believe I do have some issues. But rather, it made me think, what other kind of behaviors are for other people's attention? What other kinds of things do I do? And I do crave people's attention. Well, not like I go out of my way, but when people show me like even the least bit of interest, I'm like, oh my god, I need to try and make myself present. I always imagine talking to someone, just having a deep conversation with them about philosophy and life and stuff like that. I do have friends. Not a lot, but I do have friends. Oh, my bad. I kind of got lost in thought. I was at, yeah, my mom, she told me that I do things to get people's attention. And and that thought first started with me thinking about the praise I've gotten on my Instagram for my art. Then it made me think of my classmates' compliments. Then it made me think of my mom's comment. And well, it kind of got me spiraling into thinking about why, And I think it all starts with me being left alone a lot as a kid, more than I should have been left alone as a kid. Let me start you off with one core memory that rests in my head. And it kind of comes back to me. It's like a bad dream, but you know it's real. You know it happened to you. It isn't anything crazy, by the way. So basically, we moved to this new house, right? It was this kind of house it was kind of clean at the front. It had a cement pavement. At the back, it was kind of bushy. And let me tell you, this house was very dark. Unless you turn on the lights, even during the day, it's dark and cold. Like even right now, it's summer right now, and that house is so cool. It's so like the temperature in that house is crazy. Like it's not supposed to, it's supposed to be hot in that house. It's not hot. And so that house was dark, and it's not back then I wouldn't have used cold to describe it. It was just very dark and very gloomy. So my dad left me. He picked me up. I left school at 1, and he picked me up. And he left me at home. My mom was at work. He was at work. My siblings were at what's before primary, like kindergarten. I guess that's what some people call it. And so I was alone. And you'd think, oh, but you're just alone for 4. They came at 4, around 4, but not all the time. And it'd be like, oh, but no, you were just alone for 4 hours. Didn't feel like 4 hours. I remember crying when my dad left because I was in a new house, and and my siblings were at school, so I had no one practically. And it's not that bad. It's not that bad really. Kid is I'm in a new house, and this is just the whole situation. It's gonna blow over, right? And it wasn't for a very long time. I think it was just about a month because we hired a helper, and so it was less lonely. But actually, I do have one bad experience with one helper. And it was because she was very mean, by the way. She was very mean, and I didn't like her. A lot of the times I cried as a kid. I haven't cried in I don't know, it's been a long time since I've cried. But it just happens sometimes when something just I don't know. I don't know what really brings it up, but a lot of the memories of me crying are either me being alone or me being beaten by my parents, because back then they were stricter. Now they're older and chiller, I guess you could say, but they still got those expectations of you. So that's every kid knows how that feels. Expectations, get good grades, go to good university, and become something meaningful, I guess. Make money. That one's very important. That one I understand. Make money, obviously. You gotta make money. So, and I asked my dad, back to the story, by the way. I asked my dad, hey, can we go to grandma's house? And my mom's grandma. And he was, I don't know what he said, but it was something along the lines of no. And the thing is, I question, why did my parents just leave me there? Because they could have taken me to a friend. My grandma was open, because we went to my grandma a lot of times as a kid, and we still do, just not as frequently because it's busy with school and all. And I questioned, why didn't you just take me to grandma? It literally wasn't that far. It was just like, there's this street, there's a street, and then there's a turn, and then there's the circle, and then there's another street, and then you take a turn, and then another turn, and then you take this turn, and then you take that turn. Oh, you can't see. Okay. Basically, it's like a 5-minute drive. 5 minutes, minimum. Maximum 10 minutes. Maximum 10 minutes if there's traffic, but minimum 5-minute drive. And I asked my dad about it the other day, and he said that he doesn't remember. And I'd understand that if he doesn't remember, because he was working a lot back then. He would go on trips to other countries. He brought us a sword once, like those, I don't know what they're called. Like, it was not a real sword. Like, this black, I don't know what it was made of. It was this rubber thing. It was like, I don't even remember. It was this toy sword, let me say, but it looked really cool. it was this black thick samurai sword with that with those circle things on it, and it had the symbols, but they come off easily, not on purpose. They were glued so they would come off and break easily if you hit them too hard, and they just become this long katana sword without the circle things. So and then I skipping forward, we go to primary. I am same. This actually happened before. This actually happened before primary. The next story I'm about to tell you, and it's when I arrived at primary, and I was having trouble spelling some words like bad and bag, right? And the teacher made me go between classes. Not that bad, right? But just imagine how embarrassing it was for me as a kid. You might think kids don't have a social awareness, but they do. As I was going between those classes, like it was these two hallway. Imagine a hallway and the classes like this in a closed up building. And so I went between classes. And so she'd make me try to spell in front of first off, she made me try to spell. Everyone was taking turns, right? Everyone was taking turns spelling. And we got rats up there. Everyone's taking turns spelling, and when it came to me, that was when the problem started. I think I was one of the last kids to spell, because by the time I was done, I'm pretty sure it was home time, but basically, I was failing to spell. And well, she was getting frustrated, and she was doing this in front of kids, and I think all the kids noticed, oh, he's having trouble spelling, but I don't remember anything like them saying it out loud. I just remember the teacher and me in that classroom. I don't really remember what the other kids in the same class as me were doing. So I went between classes, and I go to another teacher. She sends me there, and she makes me spell. She was a bit nicer, but just imagine that feeling when I'm going to the next class. All those kids are staring at me, and they're looking at me, and they're like, "What is he doing here? What's that paper that he's holding?" It was this paper. I had the paper in my hand, and I had to ask her to help me spell. And she was very kind. I remember she was very kind, and she'd send me back to my teacher. I don't know if I got it right, but I went back like a lot of times. And at one point, I don't know if I cried, but I definitely was upset, because I wouldn't remember this if I wasn't upset. This is the only memory I have of primary, my first year at primary. It's like reception. It's like a year before actual primary, where you start standard 1. That's what we call standard, the first standard of the first class, of the first form of primary, right? And so I was going back and forth, and this is the only memory I have. I remember some things like the swings in the playground, but other than that, this is the only memory I have of actual people there. And so it was upsetting as a kid. And now back then, I wish he had handled my teacher. I wish he had handled it better. I wish he had actually taken the time to help me instead of doing it so forcefully. But at the end of the day, I guess I learned. I do remember succeeding at the end. She was like, "See, now you did it. Thanks." And funny enough, I respect teachers very much. And I don't know if it was because of me not being bold enough to stand up to teachers. Because those primary teachers, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it, they were kind of bullies. And they had their own problems. I understand that adults who want kids, they have their own problems, and obviously they're dealing with them, but come on. You see a kid being upset, can't you at least have the human capacity to think, maybe there's a better way to do this? But then again, they were old-fashioned. They were pretty old teachers. So I can't really blame them. I can't really blame them. And I feel bad for very young teachers. Well, not very young, but like teachers around the 20s, because now they have to deal with that. Now they have to deal with the same adults that they've been dealing with from the past. Like, imagine being a new teacher, like around your 30s or 20s, or early 20s, and you're going to a school with old teachers, and you're having to deal with the same adults that you were dealing with as you were growing up. That is the worst. You just want to be around the same peers as you. Because I had a teacher who was like that. She was around her 20s, her 30s, because she was very young. She was one of the only prettiest teachers there. So I can imagine just how annoying and frustrating it must have been to be around those old teachers. Because I think at one point you get tired of those old folk. Because we got a lot of pretty old teachers here, not a lot of young teachers. So I know she never expressed it, but as a person, as someone who sees her situation from a faraway lens, a young teacher with old teachers who are the same adults that she had to deal with for most of her life, her parents, her high school teachers, her university teachers, her bosses. I could not imagine. I don't even know. I don't think she's even at that school anymore. And hopefully she's not. And hope she's in a better school with teachers around her age that she can relate with and talk to. Because those teachers, I'm sorry, but they are old-fashioned. And I think they just need to go into retirement. Because sometimes I just think, you know what, I'll leave that for another time. But basically what I'm saying is, age groups matter. You need to be around your same age groups. It's okay to interact with people who are older than you, because obviously they might have the same views as you, that you might enjoy being with them. But at the end of the day, age groups, you need to be around with people with the same age as you. It just makes you more compatible, okay? And I don't know what my camera is doing. It's doing this weird thing. See that? I don't know if you can see it, but it's getting brighter and dimmer. And I think it's because it's adjusting to the light that it can see, because my hand is in the way. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked so much. This is supposed to be about my issues as an artist being lonely, but now I'm talking about my teacher. As I said, a lot of respect for teachers. I respect teachers. But anyway, I do want to also become a teacher, because I think it's fun teaching kids. I think like you're leading a future generation. But let me just get back to my story. So let's move on a bit. I've told you about the reception. Let me tell you about that young teacher that I was talking about. Because I have 2 stories about her, funny enough. And as much as I was just talking about how I sympathize with her for being around those old teachers, I don't want to make this sound like she did something like actually serious to me, but what she made me do as a kid, it felt awful. We were in class, right? And my school is very strict. One day I'm with my friends, and I think it's in the afternoon, I'm not sure. So I am talking, apparently. I am talking. If I am talking, my teacher says I'm talking, right? And if I'm talking, the whole class is talking. I'm a very diligent student, at least in primary. So if I'm talking, the whole class is talking. There's no way. So she probably singled me out, but then again, I have issues. I did have issues, so I probably was getting excited, talking to a friend, and I just overdid it, and she caught me. I can't really say which is which. So just forget about the part about her singling me out. But it's what she did next that I can't forgive. She did call me out. She said, Gato, can you please come up front of the class? Everyone's staring at me. And you know what she told me? Can you please jump around the class like a frog? Can you please jump around the class like a frog? Wow. And I was a diligent student, and I obeyed. I jumped around that classroom like a frog. You know, and that there's an exercise that my dad taught me, and so I was kind of familiar with what she was asking me to do. So you hop, you get on, you go as low as you can with your knees, and then you jump up. And she made me do it in this row of the class. And that's not even, and that's 2 stories about her. I know she wasn't perfect. But that does not forgive what you did. That does not forgive what she did. I sound so silly right now, me talking about, but let me just continue. Because this is just for me to get my emotions out. She made me jump around like a frog in the row. I went 1, 2, I think I went 1.5 rounds. She made me go 1 and then went back, and as soon as she saw me crying, she said, Gato, you can get up, with a smile on her face, as if she didn't know what she just did. Embarrassed me. With my already low self-esteem and my anxiety as a kid. Yippee. More problems in the future. Oh, and that's not even, and this is the first story. Let me tell you about the second one. End of year. Exams are finished. I am feeling refreshed because we're done with exams. My teacher comes up to me, same teacher, the young teacher, and she comes up to me and says, Gato, you might get a trophy for most improved. And let me tell you the significance of that. I had only gotten a certificate at that point for cultural studies. Trophies in primary are like top tier. In a class, in the whole school, in the whole form, out of every standard 6, 5, only 3 people are selected to get a trophy. And I was told I was going to get one for most improved. The 3 were for the best performance, but I guess there were other categories, and I was going to get a trophy. Me, one certificate Gato was going to get a trophy. And what made this even more impactful was I seen other kids get trophies and certificates in class, in assembly, and I was ecstatic. A trophy. I was imagining, oh my freaking God, I'm going to be able to put this on a shelf. I'm going to be able to show my mom and my dad. I was excited. like any kid would be. But wait, there's a catch. There's another person who might get the trophy. It didn't really bother me at the time. I didn't really acknowledge that I might not get the trophy. All I heard at the time was trophy I'm gonna get. Skip forward to the ceremony where we're getting our trophies. They stand at 6, so it's 1 year before our final year, so it's kind of big. We're in assembly. They call out the first 3 kids, yada yada yada. I hear my name. And I'm not sure if I heard if this was for the best, for the most improved category. I did not know if they called that out, but they did at one point. But I heard my name, or at least I heard someone with my name that started with a K-A-L-A, Kala, or Katlo. That's my name, Katlo, and I heard something along those lines. And I'm not sure if it was a girl who was also in the position to get the trophy. I'm not sure if her name was something that went along my name, the lines of my name. And I hear it, and I stand up. And I'm about to go to the stage. And apparently I did not hear the part where it wasn't my name. Because one of my friends said, "What are you doing? You're not getting the trophy. It's not you." They didn't say that, but it was kind of along those lines. I sit back down and think, oh, it's not my turn yet. I see the girl who was contesting with me for that trophy. She walks up stage. She gets the trophy. I'm thinking, oh, there must be 2 people. There must be 2 trophies. I wait. And I wait. And I wait. $30. That's how long this video has been, but I wait. And I leave that class devastated. You know what I do? The first thing I do when I get out of that class, I go to my teacher and ask her, why didn't I get the trophy? Kato, I said there were 2 contestants. Why not me? I'm not having, I don't want to seem like I have a problem. Whoopsie. My bad. I don't want to make it seem like I have a problem with her now. It was something that happened like 5 to 7 years ago, but goddamn, do those feelings now, they're boiling up. And they were boiling up back then. But with the amount of situations like this that I've culminated throughout the years, ooh, they're writhing. You didn't get it. I had 2 options and I chose her. At the time, I thought it had something to do with her being a girl. I don't know what exactly was the criteria, but god damn you. I don't usually say stuff like that. I don't want to say stuff like that. But damn you for telling me that. You could have just not told me that. She could have just not told me that. She could have just kept her to herself. But no. You had to play with me. You just had to get my hopes up. Make me think for once I was going to get a reward. Because you know how I felt in primary? I wanted to actually be good, you know? I wanted to actually get the best at something. I got a certificate, which is lost. I gave it to my parents to keep for me. And they were so proud and so happy that I got it, and they lost it and they don't care about it. Because why would they? Right? It's nothing. It's just a cultural studies paper that says you did well. Didn't do great enough for a trophy. You didn't do great enough for a medal. You aren't the best runner. Oh, and speaking of running, this has nothing to do particularly with, well, it has, okay. I wanted to be good at sports. At least we had something called athletics, and basically you run, high jump, low jump, I don't know, high jump, that ball thing where you throw with your arm, the disc, you get it, right? Athletics, running, and running was very popular. If you are a fast runner, you should have known the popularity you were getting as a runner. I had a friend, Kitso. He ran. Okay. And I would run with him. I'd challenge him basically, and I'd say, "Hey, I can beat you. I'm gonna beat you." But he was faster. He was a short guy, light skinned, bald. We were all bald. They had a strict haircut policy. So he was a shorter guy, and I thought to myself, "Oh, I'm bigger. I'm not very tall right now. I'm actually very average, below average." And I'm gonna get to that part too, my short insecurities. So I think to myself, oh, since I'm taller, I should be faster. Again, I'm using kid logic. So I don't understand talent and just better bodies for certain things. And obviously we're not working out as kids, so he is just a better runner by default because he has a better body. So yeah, he has a better body for running, and I didn't understand that. Like, people are good at different things. They're better at different things. I'm better at a lot of kids at drawing. But at the time, as a kid, I didn't register that. And at the time, I wasn't drawing. I started drawing around 6th, 7th, 5th grade, 5th standard. But not seriously. I just made comics with my friend. Not as I'm doing now, trying to become a professional artist. But yeah, I wasn't particularly good at anything, so I wanted to be good at running, at athletics. So I raced him, and he beat me every single time. I don't blame him. And we had those competitions like almost so frequently. It was crazy, and especially in that hot weather. That school was not a good school. If you can tell from the teachers that I'm giving examples of, it wasn't a great school. But I got an education. I got to know a lot of things from that school. But in terms of its attitude to teaching and kids and their well-being, not a great school. So I wanted to be good at those things. I was good at none of those things. None of them. Long jump. Okay, I got this. I'm gonna jump as high as I can, and I'm gonna get into the team so I compete inter-school competitions. Didn't jump high enough. Didn't jump long enough. I thought I was strong. Hup. That's an impression of me throwing those heavy ball things to see how far you can throw them. Can't do that either. So, what do you think I'm supposed to feel? Disappointment? Obviously, I am disappointed because I'm good at nothing at this point. But anyway, I'm a kid. I'm sure I'll get better eventually. And so, it left a bad taste in my mouth for sports. Specifically, one incident where at football, right? There's this fly. I think you've seen it around, and it's bothering me. So there was this thing, right? We played sports, soccer. It was very popular with boys, and you know that, right? I, at the time, again, want to be good at athletic stuff. We're playing football, soccer, whatever you call it. One of the boys outs me saying, Gato, you're so bad. Can you get off the court? Like, he genuinely is mad. He wants me off the court. And as a kid, I'm witnessing this, and I'm going to be witnessing this for a long time. Kids' passion for sport, the want to be good at a sport, but also the toxicness of soccer. I don't like soccer because there's so much pressure, there's so much passion behind it, and that's why it's so scary. There's so much love for it. As an artist, I love art. So I understand when someone is not as good and you think that they should just go off the sideline and sit, because that's what he told me. I don't feel that way, by the way. In fact, I encourage people to do art. I wish I had more people to talk about art with. I'm thinking of joining what do you call those? A group for art, and we can talk about it. Like Jung Gi, the artist. Jung Gi, the artist, passed away a few years ago. Greatest inspiration, my greatest inspiration. He's the reason I draw every day. But back to the story. And he told me to get off the court. And I get off, crying as usual. The coach comes to me. He says, Gato, why aren't you playing? I tell them, the kids told me to get off. And I'm composed as much as I can be for a kid. Obviously, I'm upset. Obviously, I'm probably crying. I'm not sure. Again, long time ago. But I know I'm upset. And coach is like, well, just go back. And he walks me over there to the other kids. I'm not sure what happened after that, but I'm pretty sure by that time it was already too late. It was time to go home. And that kid, I remember him. His name was Lifa. And I remember him so much that whenever I see him, I saw him once at my new school in my first year, and I remembered him instantly. And he asked me, yo, do you remember me? Yeah, I remember you. And it's not because of the bad memories. He was a very iconic kid. You could remember him. He had a very funny face. But he also a very scary face. You know those small, angry people with scary faces? Yeah, he was like that. And as a kid, I found that intimidating, that he was a smaller guy than me, at least. And I was intimidated by him because of the love and passion he had for the sport. And now looking back, it makes me question, why didn't I have any passions for such things yet? I just went to school, got home, ate, spent time with my family, that's it. My parents didn't teach me anything. No soccer, no art. I did all those things by myself. Practically. The only thing they helped me with was schoolwork. That was the extent of how much they reached out and tried to teach me something. Besides that, they had work, and they had 4 kids, and they had a whole divorce coming up. So you can guess that I was not raised the best, and they were not in the best situation to raise me. Moving on. So yeah, thinking back at it, I wonder why I didn't have passions like that early as a kid. The 2 things I did and taught myself: art and gymming. Yeah. Little me wanted to get ripped. My grandma would make fun of me, the one that I wanted to go to, my mom's mom. She'd make fun of me saying, "Oh, you want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger." And at the time, I didn't know who that was. You want to be like Schwarzenegger? That's what she said. She was like, "Oh, you want to be like Schwarzenegger?" And she said, and she was like, and I didn't know who that was at the time. Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the bodybuilder. And I didn't know who that was at the time because we didn't have internet at the time, so I didn't know who that was. But I found out eventually. And so I look back at it and it's pretty funny. But those two things I taught myself. My dad did support me in exercising. He told me that, okay, he gave me a lot of advice actually in gymming, but besides that, not a lot. There were moments where my dad actually did encourage me in my art. When I was doing this thing, this kind of approach to art performance, and he said I should kind of give it up and try something else, which encouraged me to do more on paper drawings. You can see some of my drawings there. I'm not sure how I'm gonna post those. You'll see that picture. So he did encourage me in some things. When he saw that I had an interest in something, it's not as if he just let me do it by myself. He did encourage me. He did give me advice. So I guess I'm exaggerating it a bit. So, but let me now. Okay, now I look like a fool. Now I look like I'm making the situation seem worse than it is. Because now that I remember, I just started this video, by the way. I just started recording and started remembering all these things. So apologies if I recall a few things correctly, and apologies if I exaggerate a few things. But now the video has gotten too long. So let me rush it a bit, because I think you've gotten an idea of what my primary life was like, what my childhood was like. Enter high school, secondary, Form 1. I think to myself, I'm gonna make friends. I think to myself, I'm gonna make friends. I am going to be confident. I'm gonna be outgoing. That's the mindset I had in high school. A new place, a new start, right? No. Well, yes, it was. That kind of attitude is the reason I have a best friend and a worst enemy. I'll tell you about that later, but basically, I have a friend. I made my first friend there because of that attitude, that outgoing attitude, and that's what I love about the younger me, is that I was always open to new ideas like that. Eventually, of course, it kind of cooled down because of the anxiety of high school. You had to learn new things, and a lot of people. It wasn't as easy as I made it seem to myself. But I wish I'd kept that attitude more. I wish I'd been more outgoing. I wish I'd made those friends, because a lot of people who I was with in the first year are still with me now here, and I wish I'd made friends with them. But now, at the end of the year, we're all saying goodbye, we're all preparing for prom, and we're all preparing to go to university, or IB. So, missed opportunity, I don't know. But the sooner I get a fresh start again, I've learned, I know what to do this time. Hopefully. And hopefully my issues will not go in the way of that. And this is part of me trying to solve that. Trying to resolve those issues, trying to put them on something, record them, but whatever, let's continue. So at this point, I have made this long video and I've told a lot of my story. It's going to take me a bit to remember what happened next in high school, but I'm going to end it off with saying that as I said, I cried a lot because of my loneliness. I remember crying outside my house right now. Well, not right now, but a while ago, like a long time ago, about how I would be the greatest artist ever, how I'm gonna be better than everybody, and that's the mindset I still do. It was just more intense and a lot of emotions were flowing back then. So yeah, if you've listened this far, thank you to whoever's watching this. Hopefully I can make better content. Hopefully I can become a better artist. And check out my Instagram. I'm gonna put in the link. I make really cool art, or at least I'm starting to. I'm getting better, by the way. I'm about to post this art piece about naked men. So, and a bunch of faces I drew. Let me just show you one piece right now. Trying to look for a decent piece that I can show you, but I don't seem to have any. This sucks. Okay, let me just show you this one. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's basically like a chubby guy who just murdered somebody. And those are the kind of ideas that I was coming up with at the time. It's not clear right now, but and there's another guy with this. It's the same idea but drawn better. I'm gonna post it on YouTube and on Instagram so you can better see it. So that is it. My artistic loneliness, my loneliness as an artist, my underappreciation. Praise me, oh praise me. I don't know what to say about myself sometimes. I don't know whether to be confident or whether to be arrogant and outgoing. But right now, I just feel like going crazy about everything. Being better at everything and being better than anyone. Crushing everybody. I'm literally on this arc where I'm telling myself the only way to motivate me is to hate everybody else. To hate everybody who's better than me. To hate every good thing that has happened to them and wish it happened to me instead. So that I can get those happy moments. And not them. They don't deserve to be winners. I do. Me. That's the one thing I'm sure of. Being better than everyone. Showing them that they're not as good as they think they are. That talent and the hard work was a waste of all their efforts. That's what I want to do. But everything else, being confident, talking to people, that's just still a bit of a gray area. Should I just be outgoing as a young person? Do I need to even be young to be outgoing? I don't think so. To be open-minded, to think about what other people feel? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out people. I'm still trying to figure out myself and the whole damn world. It's a whole mystery. I'm still trying to figure it out. I heard this one person on Instagram say that God must have been angry when he created us. And this is our hell. And we must endure it to get to heaven. It's just something I said. It was really interesting to hear. It was the first time that someone actually said something about God's emotions while making us. Because everyone would think, oh, God must have been so happy when he made us. Because in the Bible it says God made the sky, God made the animals, the birds, and said it was good. But the idea that he was angry just puts a bit more emotion for me. Just makes it feel more raw, and because you're all alone there, you're all alone in that blackness, and you want to create something. But I guess as an artist, God is an artist. He is an artist. He's a great artist. But of course, his emotions are going to spill into his work. Human beings are angry, confused, curious monkeys, trying to figure out what's in the other monkey's butt. That was weird. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's it. This is for the thumbnail, by the way. I need the thumbnail. Okay, how was this? I have a book here. Let me just use it for the thumbnail. That's I think kind of cool. So, this is gonna be used for the thumbnail, and I'm just gonna my camera is ass. I'm using my phone by the way. All right. Oops, my bad. Game, oopsie. This is the thumbnail.